That one felt pretty good, Mikey.
Yeah, came out nice. 4,400,
No.
17.4 launch.
Not bad on. I feel like that's not bad on spin.
Yeah, descent angle 48. I mean, that's pretty steep for a 5-iron. It's good.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, Michael, we have a whole host of new irons.
I like this.
We're going to start with the P770.
Feels like the end of summer into the fall iron season. There's a lot of irons coming out. But this is a good start, P770.
Yeah, we reviewed the, obviously, P7CB a few weeks back now. You guys all just saw that one last week on the channel. Obviously, we were really impressed with that one. I think there was talk of you sneaking a set into your bag. But 770, I think, is probably for a wider audience, for more of you that are watching this. If you aren't paying attention, this is probably the one that you should be paying attention to. An iron like P7CB is as great as the looks are, and obviously hear the story of, you know, the sort of the improved forging process that TAYLORMADE have and tightening that grain structure for improved feel, consistency, and performance. This is the you know, meat and potatoes that really we sell.
Yeah, P790 is obviously popular, but I mean, this is great for combo set. But yeah, full sets of 770. You know, other competitors in the industry that have an iron similar loft, kind of similar spec. They've refined this one a little bit more shape-wise. Looks very minimalistic, which I like, kind of pretty sleek. But excited to see the performance out of these things.
Yeah, it definitely does look refined. Obviously, there's some sort of new aesthetic changes, some cosmetic changes. But some features around the head, Mikey, talk about sort of improved turf interaction.
Yeah.
Still packing the P770 punch, but in a smaller profile. I think that's the big thing, I think, from a player's perspective. They're trying to draw in probably a wider audience, a better player potentially, into an iron like this by making the shape of it a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I found 790, 770, although a good combo iron, 770 sometimes blended a little too close to 790. So making it a little sleeker, it still has that speed pocket in there. I think is the right way to go.
Agreed. Okay, we've got 9-iron, 7-iron, 5-iron today. A little change up from our 4-7 wedge that we normally do. It's all good. We will adapt. But yeah, let's see what they're all about.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, Fraz, 140 yards out, 9-iron, built to your specs, Tour Velvet grips, Modus 120 stiffs.
Almost to our specs. They nearly get it right. Yep, they're too short.
So short.
There's two different rulers that TAYLORMADE use. These have been built a half-inch short of the length that I use. So numbers will be reflective. Dynamical angles will be too flat. We've tried to move them upright. We've tried our best to make, obviously, the clubs work, but the clubs are going to play half-inch short, and the lie angles are going to, as I say, dynamically play too flat. Disappointing. Yeah, really disappointing. I mean, it's not part of the review, but at the end of the day, we're going to try and do our best to review these golf clubs in the most positive light, but when we can't get the specs right on them, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I think what makes an iron shine is when we're fitters. That's your spec, we send the spec. That's what makes these irons really perform, so we'll see.
All right, let's hit a few with the 9, Michael. Let's see what we see.
Good strike to start.
Yep, better one.
Behind the ball, top line, pretty clean.
Yeah, very clean. Like, not overly small, though. Like, obviously, I know the kind of smaller package is what they're going for.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not small.
Okay.
I don't think people should maybe read the market and read too much into that. Like, oh, maybe it's not for me anymore.
Yeah, it's not intimidating.
Still for everyone.
Okay,
Still for a lot of people.
Sounds a bit interesting. It's more higher pitch for a hollow.
It does sound a little bit like that, doesn't it? I mean, it's very clean.
Yeah. Looks like a blade from back
really
here.
Nice job. It does. Tell you what, if they did design a blade that looked like that, you'd be pretty impressed with it, wouldn't you? Yeah, no, I mean, obviously the strikes they're coming out thin, but I think it's just because the clubs are short. I think that's all that is. When you're using clubs that are a bit short, that's where the miss is going to lie.
Good swing. You mind it's the thin strike. Thoughts on feel? Does it have that forged feel to it?
No, it has a hollow body feel to it. It doesn't feel like P7CB. Right. In terms of, like, when I still think of traditional forged, like that type of iron. This feels like, like a forged but techie iron.
Right. Okay.
I want to steal the name of another iron out there in the marketplace, but forged techie is kind of what I do feel from this one. You can tell there's some thin walls going on here. It's not that deep feel when you hit it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, performs okay. Excited to see the 7 and 5, for jumper awareness, because sometimes these style of irons can get a little hot off the fairway.
Definitely. How are they for consistency on that, Mike? If you look at some, yeah. So I mean, I think what we've come to sort of focus on in these tests, rightly so, is how consistent are they shot to shot.
Yeah.
Not so much how far do they go. I mean, loft will determine that, length will determine that. Obviously, the specs and components, but yeah, I think that standard deviation being nice and tight like that is good. Yeah, again, that's that image, silly image. They don't feel like that.
They don't sound like they're coming out of there.
No, and if it was like that, I mean, you'd be blading them over the green. You wouldn't be getting any flight on them. But yeah, they feel. I mean, for obviously being a little bit thin, they feel pretty decent.
Good.
All right, Michael, 7 iron.
Okay, moving up into the longer stuff. Offset size, does it change much?
I don't know if people will notice that big of a difference in the size between the 770 and yeah. I don't know. Like I'm not looking at that going, wow, like they've really shrunk that down.
Right.
I don't really see that. Again, though, it's nice, and there's not going to be many objections. That's for sure. I think a lot of people will kind of warm to these. It'll be interesting. Obviously, the 9 iron, like all TaylorMade irons, doesn't have speed pocket. Yeah. And now we do have speed pocket, obviously, with the 7. Whether we start getting actually better performance out of the iron now because we're living a hair low in the head.
That was a nice strike, 54, 100.
54 is a little bit odd in the spin, isn't it?
Ball you're using there?
Pro V1.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely on the low side.
That sounded good. A nice flight, too. Getting away with that thin strike, though, because of speed pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that strike?
It felt okay, but again, I'm looking at the cod and it's thinking it's pretty thin still. Felt good, though.
Getting away with it, then. Good peak height. I mean, it gets in the air pretty quickly. Spin's
on the low side, isn't it?
Yeah, it's low. Yeah.
It's low for a 7. Yeah, 33. These are by no means strong lofted.
No.
Which is a bit of an odd one, isn't it?
Yeah, I was expecting to see it come out like kind of mid-6s for you right out of the gates.
I spin mine at exact same loft. I spin mine at 64.
Right.
So that's 1,000 more for the
RPMs
same
lower.
loft. I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit on these.
That higher on the head?
Yeah.
If you were to combo a set of these, this is kind of where you would split it with a CB, maybe 776 or 567, and then split it.
567.
If it was a 5-to-pitch set.
I mean, the concerning thing, and I'd be obviously looking to try now the P7 CBs just to see, like the spin.
Yeah, it's just low.
Like I don't know how you combo. I know the lofts are the same, but okay, let's just grab mine a second. Caught it maybe a hair thin, but immediately 6,000 in spin.
That's 500-600 RPMs up already.
Yeah, yeah. So that's again that's where I just like maybe you need to be a little careful how you combo those up.
You have to see
not quite
them.
as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Versus rather a recommendation, you have to see the customer hit almost both of them to make sure you're not sacrificing too much spin.
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, and Because here's the thing, Mikey, like obviously I'm catching these a little bit low in the head. If you catch it higher, the spin's going lower.
Yeah.
It's not going up.
Just knuckleball.
It's going to be kind of fast low spin bombs. So yeah, interesting. Wasn't expecting to see that.
Okay, for us into the longer irons, 5-iron here. Blade length get a little longer, heel to toe. Still pretty compact.
Pretty compact.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, this is quite nice. And we've said this a little bit recently. You know, the sort of offset profile of some of these irons starts to look better on a long iron than it does on the shorter ones. But this one looks pretty good.
Okay, good.
That one felt pretty good, Mikey.
Yeah, came out nice. 4,400.
I know.
17.4 launch.
Not bad on. Feel like that's not bad on spin.
Yeah, descent angle 48. I mean, that's pretty steep for a 5-iron. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, 133 ball speed is not shabby at all. Even considering the fact they are a little bit on the shorter side, so you're sacrificing a little bit of that club head speed. But efficiency is not bad at all. Yeah, that was quite nice.
Other one.
Actually done quite well, that one. I was kind of expecting it to go left.
Funny, the long irons or the irons you get speed slot with, they sound better.
Yeah. So, I mean, combos like 5 for sure.
Yeah.
This would be a no-brainer into the combo set. Yeah, I just think some of these hollow body irons, it seems like a bit of a challenge to get short irons and sometimes even mid irons to perform like the long irons.
Right.
I think there's a point at which you lose loft at the face. You actually start to activate the face. You start to really get the face to work for you. And, you know, when you get, obviously, you get less sort of face flex from a deflected blow, i.e. more loft. And it almost leads to a bigger problem.
Interesting.
It is
good
interesting.
catch, yeah.
And obviously flighted CG is one of the big talking points on the new P770. I really was expecting sort of the spin windows to be so on point with this. But again, this is one person testing. You know, it might be that my delivery conditions don't suit this sort of iron quite so well, and you know, I wouldn't obviously fit into them. But there may be some players out there who do fit into a little bit better. But it is a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like, this 5-iron's got a bit of speed to it.
Yeah, quite like it.
How'd that feel?
Amazing.
Yeah. Comes out quick.
Yeah. 5 feels good. Let's just quickly round back to the 9. Let's just to see, because sometimes I feel like similar to when we do these multi-iron tests, and there might be the iron at the one we hit at the start, we don't hit quite as good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Drake.
It sounded okay, didn't it? But
yeah,
it's still in that same spot. Okay, nothing different second time around, Mikey. All right, so thoughts?
As you got into the irons with Speed Pocket, they sounded better. They performed a little bit nicer. The worrying thing that we talked about earlier is spin.
Yeah.
It's consistent. You look at the 5-iron, you know, for something that's going 200 yards, how tight that standard deviation in spin is quite nice. It launched nice and high for you as well. It is a good iron for comboing. Just have to be careful where you do it.
Yeah, and I think I would recommend that with every iron, is that even when you do combo it, make sure you're kind of going back for a checkup to make sure the loft, you know, don't just take it that the loft can naturally progress at 4-degree increments or 3 sometimes in the long irons. You've got to go back and sort of revisit that from a gapping perspective. I think that would be, you know, potentially something here, because we've got 32 yards between sort of 9 and 7.
Yeah.
And then we've got another 29 yards. So fairly big gaps.
Yeah, for sure.
mean, certainly super impressed with kind of height on that 5. Like you said, 40, kind of consistently 48 degrees of
Crazy.
angle of descent, which is good. Ball speed's good. Yeah.
Yeah, the longer part of the bag definitely performs out of that new 770.
Yeah, that's more of where we would want it. So, yeah, thoughts overall in terms of, is it something to get really excited about?
I mean, I like the look of it. I think it's
I do, so I
a
like the
great, again, you can start talking combo sets, for people that want to play CB, need some help in the long irons. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. I would say, I think we'll revisit the test with the irons built to spec.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's the first thing. It's that the 9-iron feels like I'm testing my sand wedge.
Yeah, little tykes.
Yeah. So we'll maybe revisit some kind of further testing, especially when we get into testing against other irons. And maybe even relook at. I'd love to go back to the old 770s. It's not an iron I've spent a lot of time with.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a sort of revisit to that and just see if there's something in it. So lots of people interested in 770, as we said. It's in that sweet spot size and spec-wise. Not the strongest of lofts by any means, but with sort of the advancements in the design, flighted CG, just kind of moving the model further on, I think you're going to get a little bit more pop from it. Again, really hard for me to guarantee that. I think the numbers we saw today are in line with what we've seen in the past, but there's a little bit of a reason for that.
Definitely.
Okay, let us know your thoughts, guys. If you've tried them, is it an iron that's really piqued your interest? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.